Okay. Did it start recording? That was weird. Hold on. Did it say that it started recording for you guys? Oh, good. Wait, did it? Did it say recording in progress? Oh yeah, it did. Okay. Sorry, I'm being weird. I had my sound down, so I didn't hear the recording. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so Chelsea, I got so much updated with my course. I love to hear that. Just got the sound going. Good. Okay, good. That's good. That was a problem yesterday. I got it into Canva and it looks so much nicer. Ooh, that's awesome. So you were able to put in your PDFs, upload them into Canva, and then they look nicer in Canva. Canva is one of those things, like I was trying to teach it to my mom the other day, and my mom's 62, like, come on, but she wants to be able to know how to do the things that her employees are doing. You know, I heard something like you need to know how to do 80% of the job you expect your employees to do. And I was like, that's actually true. Or maybe it was 60%. I don't even know. But yeah, she was trying to do it on her phone. And I was like, no, like Canva is best done by your computer. And it's so easy, so intuitive. It's so worth it. And I looked and my subscription is $10 a month. And I get my stickers from there. I get postcards from there. Carly says I'll have to watch tomorrow. Yesterday was wildly busy. Don't worry about it, Carly. That's why we record and upload for Reels, because there's so many things that you have to look back on. Ooh, I have really good news. I'll just tell you really quick though. My girlfriend Carol, she is a coach and she talks a lot about business energetics, which is something we can all use. I take her courses every single time because I need to be reminded to sell my courses. Sometimes I have a hard time talking about the same thing over and over and over again because I feel salesy. So she talks about finding your own authentic way of selling. And anyway, she was talking about how whenever she takes a course, because she very much practices what she preaches, she has a coach that she works with full time, but she also takes a lot of online courses and like group coaching courses from other coaches, honestly. I think it's just one of those things when you're a solopreneur, sometimes it's great to have a community, but she said that she re-watches her courses 3 times because she feels like she catches something differently each time, because you never know if you're like in a good mood, you know, or if something's annoying you, maybe you just won't pick up something the same way. Or if you're thinking about something, you'll notice something differently. So she always says to watch courses that are really important to her and have a lot of information 3 times. So the good news is that for our beauty educators, I'm having her come in and we're going to do a discussion with her, and we'll talk about when we're going to do that. She's going to do a mini course. I took this course from her and it's called How to Sell Your Courses Online Without Feeling Like a Mall Kiosk Vulture. And I love the name of it. She's so funny, but like, and she's so very direct and she's silly, but like, just the name of it, I was like, that's so genius because that is how I feel. But it was one of the best courses ever. And so she's going to do a mini version of that for us, for the beauty educators. And so you can watch it live, or it might just be kind of like an interview if you can't make it, but we'll try to do it when you guys can all make it. And then the other thing is that I'm going to take us out of Facebook. I have 3 people in Beauty Educators that like to watch these classes after the fact. They have, I don't know, like I think they work for other places or they own salons and they can't make it to these, so they watch them after the fact. But also 3 of them have told me they don't have Facebook and they're like, Facebook doesn't work for me. It's either they don't have it or they just don't like checking it. And then I realized I also don't like checking it. So fuck Facebook. We're not going to do that group anymore. What I'm going to do is Boxer, which is this cool app. It's this little guy. He looks like this cute little like bubble that's waving. So I'm going to send you guys the information through email. And basically I just need your emails, and then you download Voxer. It's free, but what it does is it's like having a little Facebook community, but basically we'll have a group of all of us in it. And I'll be able to like send stuff out and be like, hey, what's a good time for you guys to meet up with Carol? What about these times? Blah, blah, blah. We can send voice notes. It's basically just like DMs, but we can have a group, and then we can all have our own groups separately, where if you're working on something, you can DM me directly. You can send me a voice note and be like, hey, like how Chelsea says her PDF presentation, she says, yes, it transferred great. It looks like a legit professional course now. And I love that. But maybe she was like, I don't remember how to upload that. Can you remind me? What's cool about this is I can actually just take a little video of doing it, and or Steven we'll have both of us, and then just send that to you right away. So I think it'll just be a better way of having a little bit more connection. We don't have to like fucking talk to each other all the time, all day, every day. Like, I'm not going to try and like, I don't know, be like one of those weird coaches that, because I just like, I hate the term coach because I hate sports, but like, I'm also not a coach. Like, I'm not going to be messaging you and being like, hey, did you watch the class yet? Where are you? Are you caught up? Blah, blah, blah. But if you have a question or anything, you can always reach out to me at any time. So that's that. I haven't actually talked to Steven about that specifically yet, but he just hopped on. So Steven, I'm telling them that we're going to do Voxer, and we're just going to get everybody into a Voxer group. And then that way we can like DM stuff back and forth. So if they needed help with something specific for the beauty educators. So, yeah, I'll talk to you about that specifically later, but we just need to get all their emails and send them an invite. And basically you guys will get an invite and it'll be like download Voxer, and then we'll all be together. It'll be good. All right, cool. So I love potential spam. It's my favorite. Okay. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys in on what we're going to be talking about today. It might not be as long of a class today, but I always say that, and I might be wrong. So I just want to talk to you about, launching your class and kind of the things that I've tried and what we're finding is working for us and what's not working for us. I think that the industry for online courses is changing quite a bit. And so there's going to be different ways and strategies to get your course out there and promote yourself. And a lot of that has to do with creating these smaller courses or freebies based off of the class that you've come up with. So I'll just give you some examples and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the differences between like a freebie, a mini class, a small class. I'm looking at my notes here. Smaller courses, memberships, and drip sequence, kind of like longer programs. And you can kind of decide where it is that you want to be. I know just talking with each of you specifically, I know some of you guys are like, I want to put up some small courses. Like, I'm really good with social media. I have Canva templates and I want to teach people how to brand their business better. Or I want to have like an online mini course for my newbies that I'm teaching so that they can log in and learn how to brand and use Canva, right? So something like that's going to be a little bit smaller, a little lower priced, versus another student that I spoke to yesterday is building something way bigger. And it might even be something that eventually turns into a membership, but it could also be more of like a drip sequence, like a larger program that you get a little bit more released week by week, and we'll have a lot more hand holding in it. So I want to talk about, each of those. And then I have some older slides and I'm going to go through, but it's just pricing that I suggested when I created Beauty Educators Blueprint 2 years ago. So some of the pricings that I have on there, the suggestions, they might be different now. So I'm going to close our chat out. If you want to say anything again, you can always just turn on your mic, and you can always just put something in the chat as well. Also, my small eye is looking very supermodel, and I just wanted to point that out because I'm finally healing 2 weeks and 1 day later after my eye surgery. Okay, then after that, I wanted to talk about kits. So a lot of you guys are going to be teaching, a class that has to do with lashes, PMU, eyebrows. I don't know if you have a kit that comes with the spray tanning, but if it does, I always also, if you have a huge program or a membership program, I think it's cool to send out some sort of like a welcome package, just depending on what you want to do. But we'll talk about kits, and I'm going to actually, Stephen uploaded a little tutorial on how to do a kit, how to send out a kit when you get a sign up through Pretty Dash. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to get into the sales page, and that's going to be more of like, you'll want to take some notes here. Just things that you should have on every sales page. And I know me and a student were talking yesterday through DMs about like the sales page or the funnels. And I think sometimes we get confused, or at least I get confused when people say funnels. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is a funnel? Like, that is nerd talk. I don't understand it. Steven talks about funnels all the time, but it's because he's a smart boy. But basically it is just, having a sales page and it putting you through. Liz is laughing. So fucking confusing. Yeah. So basically it's like, it's your sales page, what you need to have, but it's like getting a student or a future student into a funnel of your business. Like, you want to get their email so that you can send them automatic emails so that they can sign up for, mini courses or whatever. You can continue to reach out to them. And I am going to talk a little bit about building the email and the text list, because I'm telling you guys, I have had so many friends. If you guys know SoCo Lashes, wait, was it SoCo Lashes? No, Lash Essential. I don't know why I get those two mixed up. Are they both in California? Anyway, Lash Essential, another larger educator that I know. If you guys remember Peace Lash, she was ginormous on Instagram. She was probably one of the first lash artists that I know that had like over 50,000 followers. She had like 70,000 followers or something like that. And her education, like her classes, sold out like fucking crazy. And it's annoying that followers have that effect on people, but they do. But if, something were to happen that happened to each 3 of these people that I'm mentioning, they had their accounts hacked and they were never able to recover their accounts. So, and I'm talking Instagram. So you can't just run your business off of Instagram. You need to have an email. You need to have a funnel system. And you need to have a way to be collecting text messages or text numbers, like phone numbers and emails, so that if something ever did happen, then you would not be completely fucked. And that's the best way that I'm going to say that. Okay, so I'm reading the comments here. Don't laugh at me that how do you make an email list? That's actually another class. I might even turn that into a whole ass class, because I think there's so many different ways and so many different techniques to try and build your email list. And I don't know, maybe it'll be a mini course. Me and Steven will talk about that later. Whether it'll be a full blown or a mini, either way, it's going to be for sale, or it's going to be, either way, it's going to be in the Beauty Educator Blueprint. You guys will get it. Monica, she's in BC too. Yeah, she's in British Columbia, Canada. And I talk to her frequently. Like, we've been pals online for a very long time. We've never met in person, which is fucking weird. We've been talking for like 5 years. But I asked her, I was like, has this affected your sales? Because I know she has an online course, and she also has she started traveling and training. And I was like, has it affected the amount of students that you get at trainings? And she was like, absolutely. It has absolutely affected everything in her business. And I'm not the type of person that's like, well, you should have built an email list. But I was like, dude, can I help you start building an email list? Like, because you're so fucking talented. Like, she's so talented that like all the manufacturers are always stealing her photos and like reposting them because they're so beautiful. I went to Miami with Monica. I think that's where I met you. I've never been to Miami, and I've never met Monica. So maybe she just talked about me and you felt like you knew me or something. I don't know. But anyway, okay. So getting off track as per usual, my specialty. So then we're going to go through our sales page. I'm going to show you how I like to make mine now, because it's easy. It's whatever. And then I'm going to show you a little demo that Steven has made on Pretty Dash on how easy it is to edit a sales page on Pretty Dash or your website, which, let me just explain a sales page really quick. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to show you the difference here. Because like at first I was like, I didn't know there was different pages on websites. I thought you just had a website and that was it. And then there was buttons. But when I learned like, oh, okay, we have fucking sales pages and they are different, then I was like, okay, this is making sense now. So move my little head here. So again, this is my website here. This is talking about, Layer Slayer workshops. This is just talking about lashes, the products. This is the Put Your Course Online. So the class that we're in right now. So this is my website. If I click on anything, it is going to take me to a different page. Some of them are sales pages. Some of them's my blog. And this is just like another little side note. A blog is a really great way to grow an email list. And it's also a really good way that I think we all kind of forget, because blogs seem kind of old, but it's really great for SEO, which is search engine optimization. So let's see, let's go to my, wait, I wonder if I have, these are blogs that Steven has written for me because he is the best worker in the world. Okay, so like, for example, like this one, I wrote this blog and it's like 3 reasons your lash sets look droopy. So whenever somebody goes and Googles like, why are my lash sets looking droopy? This comes up like first thing. And that's like a really great way to get people on your website. And then they're like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lash Anarchist. And maybe they want to leave a comment. Or what is really helpful here is subscribe to our newsletter if you want all, more stuff from us, because we helped you, blah, blah, blah. What we should put here, I'll just make a note of this, is like blog updates. Like if you want more blog, like updates on when we do blogs like this, like tips and tricks, put in your email address. That's going to help you build an email list. Actually, let's just talk about the email list right now, because that's where we're going into. So that's going to help. They're going to subscribe. Also, whenever you come to my website, I have a pop-up on it. Oh, thank you, Stephen. He gave me the link to the sales structure that he wrote out, so that we'll look at that in just a minute. So that's going to help. Your blog is going to help you grow your email list. But I would say one of the main things, and I can't show you this actually at this very moment because it's not going to pop up because I've been on my website so many times in the past few days. But if it was somebody new, like if you go to my website right now, something will pop up and it'll be like, hey, do you want 20% off? Give me your email and I'll give you a code. And that's a great way to build your email list. I also get an email from every single person that orders me. They go on, or orders from me. They go on my email list. But you can see down here, it says get 20% off. So this will stay down here even when the pop-up goes away. You can push the X on it, but if I click on it, this is what my pop-up looks like. So right now I'm trying to get text messages. I did a couple really cool experiments with this. So I'm going to stop the share really quick. I did a couple really cool experiments with this. One time I experimented and I was like, okay, I'm going to put out there that I'm going to do this mini training on, and I'm going to go live on Instagram. And I'm going to do like a mini training on a wet set look, which is basically just if you've ever done textured lash looks, you're just putting spikes on every single lash. Some people call it the angel look, whatever. It's all the same. You're basically just like bundling O3s and not fanning them out and placing them, which is genius. And it's a cool look. Everybody loves it. So last minute before I, like literally 5 minutes before I went live, because I'm looking at my stories and sometimes my story views are 300 and sometimes my story views are 1,300. Like I don't know. And it changes all the time. So I'm like, okay, I can see that people are signing up for the little alert to, come to my live. So 5 minutes before my class, I send out a email, and I think I sent a text too. And I said, hey, I'm doing this if you want to join. And usually what I'll do is I will have, like when I go live, I usually have about 20 people in there with me, like nothing crazy. And it depends on the time of day too, and like what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about something controversial or like showing a demo, I'll have like 20 to 30 people. But this time I had like at one point I had 70 people in my live. And I was like, this is so interesting. So I asked, I was like, how many of you guys are here because you saw this on my stories on Instagram? And how many of you are here because you got an email about it? And literally everybody was like, I got an email, I got a text, I got an email, whatever. And I've done sales before too, where I have, I always send it out to the email list first, because that's like kind of another incentive of being on the email list. Like sometimes we get tweezers in and they go really fast, like they sell out super fast. So when I launched my plastics collection of tweezers, and I have to call that because I can't call it Mean Girls because that's trademarked. So watch out for trademarks when you start creating products or whatever, or naming courses too. But yeah, we did an experiment with that as well. We sent out an email. We didn't have a text list at this point, but we sent out an email, and our email back then was probably around like 6,500 emails, maybe 6,000 emails, something like that. But we sent out an email and we were like, hey, the collection that we've been talking about is launched. They're ready to buy. And then me and my employee at that point, we were just like sitting there at lunch, just like, I wonder how this is going to work. This is so weird. And we completely sold out that entire collection with without even posting it on Instagram. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. But like when you look at the analytics, I have now my email list is around 7,500 people. I get, like a 40 to 50% open rate. That is, I don't know, like almost 4,000 people seeing what I am putting out there compared to my stories where I get somewhere between 300, 1,500 views if I'm lucky. And that's insane considering like I have a lot more followers on Instagram, but like it just doesn't push out the same way. So this is my whole spiel as to why you should have an email list. It's not sexy. It's not like fun to talk about. Email list is lame. I actually want to rename it. So if you come up with any great names, let me know, Stephen. Think about it. But yeah, the email list is everything. And now text list too, because I have a 50% open rate on my email list, which is actually really high. Like that's sometimes it's 30%, but a 30% open rate on an email list is really, really good. So I have a high open rate, but we don't try to spam people either. We don't send an email every day. Like you're probably all on my email list, so you know how we don't send them out all the time. But text lists have a 90 to 99% open rate. And if you're on anybody's text list now, like I'm on A Doll's Kill, I'm on Nasty Gal, I'm on Dressed in Lala. Like I have all of those guys texting me. And seriously, I'm obsessed with this clothing brand Dressed in Lala. I've been buying their shit since they were tiny, like since she started with just like a few pieces. And every time they drop something new, you bet your ass, dude, I get excited. I click and I go and I shop. And I'd say like 1 out of every 10 times I buy the new thing. Like it works. Text lists and email lists are great for retargeting as well. So like on our text list, if you're on our text list and you go onto our website and you're looking at something, maybe you look at it for a while, like a tweezer, and then you're like, I don't know, and you bounce away. It'll text you the next day and be like, hey, we saw you looking at this. Or it'll, if you put something in your cart and, I wonder if we can put this up for, all of this is like something that you can do. Trying to think for like classes. I know you can, we'll have to, anyway, I'm going to have to get deeper on email lists like it's going to have to be a full-blown course. I just know it already. But anyway, it's really helpful. So if you put something in your cart, it'll send you a text and it'll be like, hey, like that tweezer that you put in your cart is still waiting for you. Or it'll text you on your birthday and be like, happy birthday, 20% off, or like buy a tweezer, get a free isolation tweezer today. Anyway, so more stuff about this. I'm going to go back to my screen share here. So this is one way that we get people on our email list. The other way is that I have it on my link tree too. So like when you click on my Instagram, I can't show you, but you can look if you want. But if you click on my link tree, which is the link in my bio, right at the top, it says sign up for text alerts. So that's one other way. So those ways are all pretty passive, okay? Definitely passive ways of getting it. So what I did, and this was just from listening to lots of podcasts and just kind of strategizing with my employee. And I had this, idea. I was like, I want to start building my email list, but I think that the best way to do that really is to connect with people. So I need to build something that makes people excited about building or about getting on my text list, excited about, whatever information I'm going to give them. So I need to build something. So I have built 2 things and I'll show them to you. Liz says, what is a good program to use to collect the text list? So okay. Pretty Dash will do emails. It builds your text list. It's all connected. So in Pretty Dash, it's you can do your email list in there. Same with Kajabi. Or if you have something outside of that, like a lot of people that use like Shopify that sell products, they use MailChimp. I know that MailChimp hooks up with a lot of different websites really seamlessly. So I would look into MailChimp. It's a good one. But if you have something that sells your courses, most of them are going to have an email list in it too. It connects to Canva too. MailChimp does. Oh, interesting. I do know, and I haven't looked into this too much, but I know you can build your whole and host your website on Canva now too, which is kind of how I built my website. And I'm going to show you what that looks like once we get to the sales page. So, but it depends. Like I probably wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't host my Canva. I gotta say, they've really been stepping their pussies up. Like they have been really adding so many features. Like they're going to be like a full-blown thing one day. And I can't believe that, like, I don't know. I don't need to get off on like some philosophical bullshit, but I really can't believe that like Square websites and like Squarespace is like not keeping up with them, or maybe they own them. Who knows? I need to plug in. Okay. So some other tactics to build an email list, and these are going to be the most efficient. And I will say they were the things that worked the best for me. So what I did is when I built out Layer Slayer Workshop, I took a part of my Layer Slayer Workshop and I turned it into a freebie. So I'm going to pull up my Kajabi here. And I am going to show you my lashing in layers. So I took a part of my Layer Slayer Workshop here, and these are the numbers of members in these classes. But one part of Layer Slayer Workshop is lashing in layers. And it's just the part that is what people need to know in order for me to teach them these more advanced maps. So I teach them how to see layers and identify layers, how to lash the layers by, I lash top layer, lift, do middle layer, and then I go through and lift and do the bottom layer, and then I go through and I do the middle layer, and I have animations for that and everything. And I'll show you what this looks like. But there's just one section that I have to get through to show people what they need to know. So it's the foundations of the course. So maybe it's a little bit of theory, maybe it's a little bit of review for a lot of people, but they need to know this part. Okay. But for newbies, this might be something that none of them have ever heard of. So I put it out there. I took this section and I just chunked it out. And I put it out for free. And when people would ask me questions about how do I get my lashes fuller? I'm not getting really good retention. How do you know how to time out your lashes? Stuff like that. Or they were just like, I'm thinking about taking the Layer Slayer Workshop, but I'm just not sure, or whatever. And I just advertise the shit out of it through like email, of course, but that doesn't like get you more emails, but like through social media, I talked about it all the time. And I was like, listen, I have a free workshop. Please go take it. Okay. So now screen share again. We're going to go back to my Kajabi, but you can see here, 2,900 or 595 people actually signed up for and took my free mini workshop. And I was like, damn, okay, so people like mini workshops and they like free shit. That's good to know. And I'm telling you, I got so many great reviews from this workshop as well. Like so many people reached out to me and they were like, that was actually so like, it was exactly what I needed. It helped me create better sets. I just needed that little push. I thank you for your pep talk, whatever. So this is what this looks like. So it's just one, like I said, one little section of my lashing in layers, and it's, or of my layer slayer workshop. And it is, I mean, it's 7 little chunks or 7 little chapters.
What's up, friend?
But
Thank
like,
you so
let's
much
see
for
here.
joining me today to
That's
learn about lashing in layers.
37 seconds. Like it's not that long. It's not that extensive. And I did this all like I taught you yesterday with my slides and a voiceover. So meet your instructor. Look, I don't even have a video on this one. I forgot. So this is me just talking. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. That's me. Why lash in layers? Next lesson. Okay, this is what I want to show you. This is important. This is another really great part of marketing yourself, but also a whole nother course. Comments, 29. So I've got 29 comments here where I can take something like this. Winters Krista. Wow, this is incredible. Thank you, Allie, for sharing all this great information. This is the best mini workshop I've ever seen. Seriously, girl, you rock. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy paste this into Canva and I'm going to make a cute little testimonial and I'm going to post about how somebody loved my workshop and be like, go take my freebie. Such bomb information, Allie. I'm going to use this new information on my clients and tag you. I cannot wait to take the Layer Slayer online class. I can't tell you, this freebie still sells my class. It still builds my email list. Okay, so, and then I'm telling you, wait, hold on. Let's do mapping in layers. I just want to show you how I used Procreate.
The moment we've all
I want to show you how I used Procreate to also keep using whatever to build visualizations. I'm having a hard time talking today. This is so annoying, but how I used Procreate to create the visualizations, Procreate, but also I used Canva.
All been waiting for so many times anymore. We're going to map that out first.
So this is Canva.
All right, now the second number you're going to map out is going to be your middle layer. And that's going to go on top of your shortest ascending from there. You're going to get a really dense look, or
and then this little animation is Procreate.
In other words, a perfect line layering look. Now I'm just going to let it run through one more time for the people that want to see it twice. But this is a map that I go over extensively and in great detail in my Layer Slayer workshop. It's one of my favorites. And if I'm not doing texture, this is the exact map that I use on pretty much everybody else.
So what I did here is I threw in something that I teach and I charge to teach. This is going to give them a quick win. Just teaching this density, and for all of you lash artists and all of you lash artists, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it's called perfect line layering or top line layering. It's a Russian technique that gives you a very thick, dense line, right? And there are whole classes built around this technique right here, but I put it in here because I wanted to give so much value that people were like, holy shit, this was such a quick win. And if she is willing to give me this information for free, and like, I wanted them to take something back to their lash station that would change their lives, basically. And then once it did, everyone's like, holy shit, now I trust that person. I like the way she teaches. I'm going to sign up for her in-person class. I'm going to sign up for her online class. And I will, just a little side note, I've had people sign up for my online Layer Slayer class, which is, It's less expensive. If you don't buy a kit, it's like $400 something. And if you do buy a kit, it ends up being, it's like $634 instead of $1,000 in person. And I've had people that have taken my online course then sign up for my in-person course as well. So don't think that if you're going to put your course online that people will stop taking your in-person courses. In fact, I'd find that it's opposite, that more people want to take your in-person course. And sometimes it's the same people. And you get word of mouth. Oh, don't worry about it, Iris. I'll just keep letting you back in. She's saying her internet's iffy, so it keeps bumping her out. I'm just glad my internet's not iffy. Do you guys remember that first class that we did? And there was like this crazy like tropical storm and like the power kept going out for like a second and flickering. And I was like, oh shit, like please. And then our fence fell down. That was a day. Anyway. So I give them this quick win, right? So then I get like all of these great, like all of those, and by the way, I only on Meet Your Instructor, I think this is the only place where I allowed comments. You can turn comments on and off. I wanted all the comments to just be in like kind of like the same place so that I could like get, I don't know, just a beat, like so that they weren't everywhere. You know what I mean? Anyway, so just to get off of this one, I was like, wow, lashing in layers was such a freaking sick. Oh, and look, here's my advertisement for Beauty Educator's 12-month membership. How cool is that? Okay, so here's where the funnel begins. Okay, so they took my freebie here. And now the way that Steven has set it up, and this is why we hire employees as soon as we fucking can, because they help us make more money. They don't cost anything because they make their salary back by helping you. Just throwing that out there. I had this conversation with a friend yesterday. She was like, should I hire a personal assistant? I'm drowning. And I was like, you can't afford to not hire a personal assistant. I'm sorry, but you can't. Anyway, that's a whole different combo. So, continuing on, sorry, I had to take a little drinky drink. So here's where the funnel begins. They come in here, they take this class, they put in their email. Now they're tagged as somebody in my email list who was interested in doing lashes in layers. So then we've set it up now. Again, thank you, Steven, if you're still on here. You're the best. We love you for a reason. He has set it up. So, oh, good. He gave me a little heart. So he set it up so that now when people take this class, I don't know specifically if it's like a week later or a month later, whatever, but they get sent an automatic email and it says, hey, we hope that you love lashing in layers. If you want to learn more, you should consider taking the whole course of Layer Slayer online class. Steven says, I just added how to add videos as well as how to add slideshows to your website on your student dashboards. Cool. We'll go over that. Perfect. So anyway, they get an automatic email. So it's basically like retargeting ads. It's like an ad that retargets you, but it's free. Like I'm not paying for this, right? So this is with what they call like organic growth. Like this is organic advertising. Building that email list is really important, but this is how. So now this is selling automatically. It's selling my online Layer Slayer class. And it continues to this day to sell my online Layer Slayer class. And if I was to give you like an accurate, I haven't looked in a while. I'm just kind of used to seeing it now. Maybe I'll look at some analytics and I'll let you guys know, but we sell an online layer class probably like once or twice a week, and I don't do any advertising for it. It's this. And what I need to do is more advertising for my freebie. And that I'll just, keep that in my little mind. Okay. So I was like, wow, genius. I am such a genius. I need to create another freebie. And I did. I created this freebie and I decided to do this one differently. This one's called Raise Your Damn Prices. And I wanted to reach lash artists who were wanting to grow their business a little bit and were ready to take it to the next step, because that is the type of student that I want in my online Layer Slayer workshops or in my in-person Layer Slayer workshops. And also, like, I'm a big advocate for raising your damn prices. And I thought that this would be like a really fun one, but look at this. I got 677 people to take this class, but this one I did a little bit differently. And I'll just say this, it's totally up to you. I know it has everything to do with like what your personality is, like what you're comfortable with. It took me a while to be really comfortable with teaching live, even online. So maybe build something like I did with my first one. It was pre-recorded. I did the slideshow and the voiceover. That way I could, I didn't have to do it in front of anybody, right? But for Raise Your Damn Prices, I'll show you how I did it a little bit differently. And it's very similar to the way that we're doing it right now. So I did a Zoom call and I was like, I am going to talk about raising your prices and I want you all to sign up for my Zoom and let's all hang out and talk about these strategies. And let me talk you through some of like the things that are holding you back from raising your prices and all of those like 3 a.m. worries that we get, like, I know for me, I wake up to go to the bathroom at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And if I'm stressing about something, I will not go back to bed because then I have these questions and these worries, right? So I walk through each one of those things. So this is the behind the scenes of what this looks like. But for the student, it looks like this. It is just one video and raise your damn prices. And I'm like, here's some stuff that I'm talking about right here. And look at this. I didn't even edit this part. This is how old this thing is I didn't even know how to like fix that. So I just didn't, but it didn't really matter. I only got 4 comments here, but at least I got some reviews. You're a complete game changer. Motivate isn't even the term. Anyway, like, these are great things. And by the way, if you're marketing yourself, and especially if you're marketing a class, having social proof and reviews are an example of social proof. You can also get video reviews from people. Those are also really great, but you need social proof. And we're going to talk about that on your sales page. You want to have some sort of social proof on your sales page because that's going to help people want to purchase from you, because people trust other people. They want to see that other people have taken this class. Anyway, so this is how I recorded this. I recorded this live with people watching me on Zoom, and it was interesting to say the least. I will tell you, and I will be totally honest, the first time I did it, I kind of got messed up in my slides and I was like, oh shit, hold on. I got to back up, blah, blah, blah. And I like forgot what was coming next. And it just wasn't like my best work. So I did it again. I was like, you know what? I'm offering this class again. So please come and sign up. So like the first time, I think I probably had like 30 people on my Zoom, which was great. Like it was a lot of people, but then I was like, that wasn't my best speaking engagement of all time. So, we all have our off days. So I did it again, and this is the second one. So, and it was fine. Everybody still loved the first one, and I still got all their email addresses. So this is what this one looks like.
raise your prices. Why did I make this into a workshop? Because I think it is one of the most important things that we can do for our businesses.
I'm also just sitting in my guest room again. You don't have to have a crazy, like, I think a lot of people think that they need to have like a really nice space, and that works. But like also on Zoom now, you can give yourself a fake background, or you can blur your background so you can't see what's going on at all. Or you just like throw some tapestry of a Barbie smoking a joint up behind you.
Remember, we are all small business owners.
So I go through my slideshows.
Or your oldest on the pandemic. And I would ask somebody else, you're going to get a bunch of no's in this life, especially in this business in 2020.
Blah, blah, blah.
And who knows what 2021 will hold. I'm staying positive though.
Wow.
And sometimes
these are like my
want to know how I would do.
These are some of the people that were on the Zoom. Everyone was just kind of like listening. And it ended up being about 2 hours.
This isn't how we're going to work things. You got to just tell people how it's going to go.
Anyway, that's just an example. So that's how I got a bunch more emails. And so that's what I would consider a freebie. Another really great freebie, y'all, is an ebook. And an ebook is really easy to market, to get people to buy. If you'll notice, there's a lot of coaches I've noticed. Even the chick I was telling you about yesterday, who I love listening to her podcast, Amy Porterfield, she'll do something like, I have an ebook on how to put up your first online course. And it'll just be like a small, like very quick to the point ebook that you can download. She'll send it right to your email as soon as you give the email, but now they have their email, and then you'll get retargeted. And she'll say, come to my class that I'm going to be giving out for like $47 or whatever. And then you go to that class, and then that's where she's going to sell you on her larger program. And that's really where I've gotten like most of these ideas is from her. Okay, I'm going to read here. So to make an ebook, you make it the same on Canva, then you post it to your site as a freebie course. How do they get it sent right to their email after ordering? So for me, with Kajabi, I've had it as a download. So let me just show you that again. I kind of showed you guys yesterday, but let's go back to products. And if you have, it depends. I need to look on Pretty Dash. I'm not as familiar with Pretty Dash as I am Kajabi. Obviously, this is what I've been using forever. Actually, let's go back to, have it in the branding blueprint. Oh, wholesale and private label mini workshop and business coach checklist. These are also both freebies that I've done before, and I've gotten those mini members. So Layer Slayer workshop, let's go in here. I'm pretty sure y'all just get to see it all in here. Is it under possibly marketing? So this is the ebook that I sold. And I put it up as a product for $27, but in my Layer Slayer workshop, you just get it for free. It's right here. So I just put it in as a download. So what I would do is I would create a product and I would just put it as the download. So if I click on this, it's going to download for me here. And this one's a little bit bigger, so it's taking like a second. But like I said, don't judge me on this ebook because it is outdated. I have this bubble tea and it's taro. If you aren't familiar with that, it's like a purple potato, and it's not my favorite bubble tea, but whatever. We're just going to deal with it. Okay, so this is what the ebook looks like. I made it on. So this is what it's going to look like for everybody that downloads it. Made it on Canva. And really, you can put out any information that you want. I always have an about me. You want people to understand like why you know, they need to listen to you, whatever. You always want to have great visuals. You always need an agenda. This is something
I need to change some of my appointments because on the 28th.
Oh, wait, hold on one second. No. Okay. Cool. I used to forget to put agendas like in my classes, and I would forget to like let people know like what we were going to go over, and I would just start talking. So just make sure you always have an agenda, especially on an ebook. Like it's a book, it's a little book. So yeah, we went over basics, how to choose a memorable name, profile picture, and write the perfect bio. Like this is basic stuff, you guys, like, and I kind of forget. And I think when you are a course creator, it's very easy to give people too much and to try to include too much information when really you need to keep it as simple as possible. And that's something that I personally still struggle with, and I work on often, is trying to just like really not go too in depth with something. And I relearned this the other day when I was teaching my mom a reel, and every step that I made, I would do it like just very instinctively. And she was like, wait, what did you just click? And I was like, I clicked the music button or whatever. And she was like, where was it? Like she just didn't see it, you know? So you have to think of that. And then like, I remember the very last time that I taught a new lash artist class, I had 3 new lash artists, and I had a model, and I was going to do a demo, and I laid down my model, and I put on the iPads, and then I was like, okay, here's how you're going to hold your tweezers. And all 3 of these girls were like, wait, how did you put on that iPad? Or like, they were like, why'd you put that thing on? Like, how'd you put it on? And like, why? And what's going on? And I was like, holy shit. Like, oh yeah. So you have to like really get down to the basics and make sure that you are including that stuff, whether you think that your student needs it or not. Some of your students do need it. So like, if I was going to read this ebook and I saw the basics, I'd probably just zoom through it and, you know, maybe skip that part. Creating content, how to create your own photos, memes, and educational posts, planning and batch working, utilizing Instagram stories, creating great ads, networking. So yeah, this is what my little ebook looks like. And it's a lot of stock photos from Canva. And I actually, this is some analytics from my actual like Instagram. And I put that in there just talking about like impressions and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, oh, look at how cute my old studio used to look. So I created this, but I didn't create and design this ebook because I don't do that. I went to Etsy and I downloaded a freaking ebook template. Here, I need to move my head again. Or I just need to like get rid of my head. Move. Okay, ebook template. Like something that would fit my aesthetic. Like how cute is that? That is a website though. Custom Shopify website. Adorable. I don't know if like people need ebook templates anymore. Workbook, ebook, digital workbook. Like there's all these different editable like templates, whatever, if you don't find exactly what you want on Canva. But there's also always Canva. And I think people forget this too. This is actually so cute. Stop it. look at this like lash manual. I don't know why these girls are in like bikinis, but you can create a lash manual or a manual of any kind with a template. And you beauty educators, you already have your template, but like if you want to add more stuff, like this is $25, but I will let you know that this is a part of somebody's funnel. They are getting your email so that they can then, you know, come back and send you emails and be like, hey, did you like that? Do you want to learn more about us? And then they want to send you more stuff and hopefully get you enrolled in their courses. And they have 14,000 sales. They're not making money off of this. You have to give Etsy like 50% of your sales anyway. So they're making a little maybe money, but it's not about that. It's about getting you in their funnel. This is actually like a pretty good little resource. Anyway, but if you're going to go into Canva, they have ebook templates too. Let's see real quick. I need to reshare my Canva. I mean, they literally just have everything, brochures. And then if there's people that you know that you love, like Wednesday, I love her style. So I will always like hire her to just like make me a template. So there's just, anyway, there's just all different types of stuff. Let's see. Ebook. You go, girl. Like, these are cute. Okay, customizes template. I wonder if these people just get like paid. Anyway, so you get the picture. And that is how you're going to grow, you know, your email list, and you're going to get that going. So freebies are super, super important to get people just basically interested in you. Like I always say, like they need to know you. They need to get to know you. They need to like you. And then they need to trust you. So giving them something for free, showing your personality a little bit, and just getting it out there is a really great way to get that that know, like, and trust factor, and get people interested in what you have to sell. So let's get into, and then also Chelsea, we were talking about to make an ebook. Before I had Kajabi, I made that ebook and I sold it on Shopify. I don't know if anybody uses Shopify, but if you do, I mean, it's a really great platform. They have a little add-on. It's like an app that you can use and it will show you. I mean, it's really easy. You just download it. And then when somebody buys it from you, they just automatically send the link out to the person that buys, and they send the PDF straight to the person's email. So it's really simple. And no matter what platform you use for your website, you can always Google. Like that's like the one thing I think I forget all the time is like, if I can't figure out something on Kajabi or on Shopify, I can just Google like, how do I do this on Kajabi? And either Kajabi has something there for me to watch, or somebody else on YouTube has something there for me to watch. So, okay. So we are going to talk about like the different types of classes that you might want to make, and then what I would consider kind of like, I don't know, like a good pricing for them. And because I feel like pricing is, it's something we talked about in creating your course, but when it comes to online courses, it's a little bit different. And I know in our industry, we don't want to devalue our courses really at all. And that's something that everyone's extremely worried about doing, but I'm telling you, it's just kind of the nature of the business. And I keep seeing the industry change. Like, I really do feel like we're in a shift right now. And I've noticed with my own courses, I sell a lot of online layer slayers for sure. But what we're going to try next, because I created that smaller mini workshop, the Slay the Consult, where I just taught you how to draw lashes onto your client during the consultation. That one was so successful that I'm like, okay, maybe the move is to take Layer Slayer, which is 6 different creative maps, and break it into 6 mini courses. So this is what we're trying next. And I'm learning just as you're learning. So I will keep you guys updated on how this works out, but we're going to break it up. So they're going to get the basics, like the introduction, the basics, and then we're going to go over one map. Like one mini course is going to be about the strip lash look, a soft strip lash look. And then one map or one mini course is going to be, I have a length hack map, and it's going to be the same thing, the intro, the lashing in layers, so the basics, the theory, and then we're going to go over the length hack map, and then like a conclusion. And all of these classes are going to be broken down. And like I said, my class all together without a kit is, I need to look at it, it's like $450, we'll say that. But with my 5 or 6 different maps, I might make it somewhere between like $70 and $90 for each of them, so that they can choose, you know, which style they want without having to buy the whole program. Because what we're seeing in the trend right now, and I keep talking with other online creators as well, especially in the beauty industry, what we're seeing is that people almost want quicker, less expensive, to the point classes rather than the whole thing. But you can still have the whole thing. You want to make the whole big program, and then you just want to break it up into smaller programs. And then what's great about all of these platforms where you put your courses up is then people can have the option to bundle. And that's where you're going to make a lot more money. I also saw this woman talking, and she's like this big online course creator. So like, this is crazy talk, but she was like, how my company made over $300,000 last year, not promoting a product at all, but just from actually adding it or like putting it on at the checkout as an option. So basically, if you've ever bought an online course, especially from like a larger creator that has something really built out, you'll see that they'll be like, do you want this $47 ebook or mini course where I'm talking about something that you like? And you're like, yes. So you go to buy it, and they're like, wait, but do you want to add on this $20 thing? I'll just give you an example. I bought a course for Procreate, and it was about how to draw 3D flowers on Procreate. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy this course. It was like a $200 course. And I go to the checkout, and they're like, do you actually want to throw on these brushes that we've made specifically for this course? But you don't have, like, you can still use the brushes. Like it says specifically, like, you can still use the brushes that come standard with Procreate, but we've created some different brushes that are a little bit, you know, geared towards this specific technique. They're typically $50, but if you buy them now with this course, they're $25. You want to buy them? And all it is an upsell. And I was like, no, but a lot of people are going to say yes. You know, so that is how, like this lady was saying, how I generated over 300 grand more for my business last year, because I just gave people the option to bundle or to add on, or it's an upsell. Like if you've ever been a server in a restaurant, this is where I get like basically all of my business background is being a cocktail server. My managers all the time, you got to upsell. So when people would be like, what's a good red wine? You'd be like, okay. Or they'd be like, what's the house red wine? You'd be like, well, the house is, but our whatever Cabernet is like our best seller. And if you just say that, seriously, 9 times out of 10, they're going to spend $2 more on that, which makes my tip a little bit bigger. So it's all the same principles. It's upselling, it's bundling, whatever. So yeah, that is a great way. So if you're going to have a large program, consider breaking it down into these mini courses. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have like, okay, so we can see that you're buying this soft texture look. Do you also want to buy this Russian textured look for a discounted price if you bundle right now? And so we're going to try that out, and we'll let you guys know, like, that's going to be a part of like our group discussions with the Beauty Educator Blueprint, whatever. So, anyway, okay, so let's take a little bit of a break because I gotta pee again, and I'm like, push the fish, it's about to turn. What are we talking about? Anyway, let's take a little break. I'm already getting halfway through here, but then afterwards, I want to talk about just like, being a server. Oh my God, yeah. I cannot. Yeah, she's saying, so like as a server, they would be like, okay, like we can't sell this fish starting tomorrow because it's going to go bad. So just like tell everybody the fish is your favorite dish. And you have to like go out there and be like, but if you're interested, if you like fish, like we have a really good dish that I love. I was the worst server in the world because I couldn't lie like that, but I was really good at selling the things that were good, like, so I always had to work at a good restaurant or else I would just suck at selling. So make sure that you're selling what you love. But yeah, when we come back, I want to talk about just kind of like, I'm going to go over pricing really fucking fast because we already went over it in the first class that we did. But then I want to watch the kit. I want us to watch Steven's. He did a couple tutorials for us. So we'll watch those and then we'll go over the sales page, and that will be pretty quick. So hopefully, hopefully we'll be done a little bit sooner than yesterday, but I don't know. I always promise that and then I'm always wrong. So we'll see. All right. So if you have any questions, make sure to write them down, but go take a break, have, a little snack, go to the bathroom, and let's come back here. It's 12:22. Let's come back in like 13 minutes at like 35, and I'll try to be on time today. All right. All right, so let's talk about pricing just really quick and kind of the differences for online courses. And these are just merely suggestions. Like I said, I am in no way an expert. And they always say, like in Lash World, they're like, don't look and see what your competitors are charging. That's not the right way. But honestly, that's how I always taught lashes, especially in the beginning. I'd be like, listen, you need to see what people are charging in your town and start off with that price. And I would have a lot of people say, no, that's not the right way. But honestly, I think that's the right way. You don't want to come out of the gate like too high, too low. And I do have an example of this. I have a friend who put a course online, and it was a course all about policies and enforcing policies. And it came with like like legal documents for your clients to sign, like consent forms, model release forms, things like that. It was a full blown, it was a really big, great course. And she puts everything into these courses, right? Like she's very much a perfectionist, unlike me. And it was a beautiful course, but she put it out and we had, we were all like trying to help her sell it. And she put it out, I believe, at like $500 or $600, and it didn't sell at all. It didn't sell a single thing, I don't think, because she came back and I was like, because I had a discount code and I've done a course with her before. I don't know if you guys remember her. Anyway, she was one of my friends that lost her account. Anyway, so she was like, okay, I did this wrong. And I looked into it. I did some more research, and a course of this size and of this nature, and because it's online, it needs to be a lot less expensive. So I'm dropping the price of the course to $199, but she gave us all of us like affiliates a discount code. So for us, we would be like, hey, if you get this class, you get $25 off. And then she would pay us $25, or maybe I actually think it was $50, because she ended up making about $100 per person that signed up. And I was like, that's a big drop, dude. Are you sure? And this was back when I only had my Layer Slayer online, so I wasn't sure either. But my course was a little different because it was something I taught in real life, and I knew it was successful, but I still cut the price of my course in half, just thinking it's online. You don't get the same experience. And to me, I think you pay for the experience a lot when you're paying for a course. So, and the interaction, the connection with the teacher, the other students, etc. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, this will be a great learning experience for me too. So we were pushing it out, and we were like, you know what? We did a price drop, and she was honest too. And this is what I love about her. Her name's Melissa. She's from Arizona. But she was like, I didn't know how to price my course. So we have a new price. I've updated the course just slightly, but it is now $199. But when I said it and I put it into my email list, I said kind of the same thing. And I was like, it's $199. If you use my code, you get $50 off. And then she paid us out $50 for every course that we sold. And so if it was a course that she sold, she made, $200. But if it was a course that her affiliates sold, she made $100. And she said that she sold so many courses after she made that price adjustment. So it's not in your best interest to come out being like, hey, like, this is what I would charge for it in real life, so that's what I'm going to charge for it online. I also just have the personal opinion, and I know some people, agree with me or whatever. I've had this discussion with friends, but I personally believe that we do overprice a lot of our courses in our industry just because we can. And I think a lot of our classes are 2-day classes that could be 1-day classes. And it doesn't totally make sense to me, but I think it's just the course of our industry. It's very young. And if you compare it to the hair industry, you'll see how over time the hair industry did the exact same thing. You used to have an extension class that you would go and take, and it'd be 5 days, it'd be $5,000. But now with the hair extension class, you go, it's 1 day, and you maybe even sit in a room with 20 people and you pay $600 or $700. So it's moving in this different direction of courses. And I don't think that there's any right or wrong way to do anything. I just think that playing around with things and not being afraid to change your mind and change your prices and the way that you do things is the only way you learn and the only way that you grow as a business owner anyway. So I have a question. What is your opinion about pricing for a beginner 7-day class, classic and volume? So for a 7-day class, I don't I don't even know where to go with that. Wait, are you in Canada? Am I mistaken? Um, yes, okay, so you are in Canada. So it's so much different, I think, in Canada versus the United States, because I know that Borboleta used to have a 5-day course. It was a foundational course. I know that Steven took it. I don't think he's on here anymore. He has shit to do. Oh, he might. He's probably doing shit though. Steven, if you're there, do you remember what you paid? I think he said it was like $3,000 for a 5-day foundational course. For a 7-day, it's just, that's $5K. Okay. So like $1,000 a day. I feel like $1,000 for a full day in-person class is very, legit. I don't think that's too much to ask, but I do know that it's different in Canada. And that's where I'm like, I don't really know. And also, I've never heard of a 7-day course, but I know what you're doing. Oh, 3 days of online and 4 days in person. So I would price that more around in the United States. So take this for what it is. I would price that probably just under $4,000. And I would give people payment options, because it's not a course at that point. That's a program. And that's almost like an apprenticeship, or anyway, I'm going to pull this up and we're going to talk about it. Chelsea says, with foundational lash courses, I don't see how those could be completely online. Where do you sit with that? It's a really good question, Chelsea, because a lot of people have that question. And I think that that's really opinion based as well. But my personal opinion is that I think you could do a hybrid online and in-person course, but with somebody beginning learning lashes, I do believe that they need to have in-person practice with somebody sitting there right next to them. Like, you are doing something literally surgical. Like, I was actually thinking about this. Forgive me if I am repeating myself, because I do that. And I don't remember really what I was talking about yesterday. But I was thinking about how I had to pull that stitch out from under my eye. And I was so glad that I had my tweezers. If you guys missed that happened 2 days ago. But I was I'm so glad that I have the skill of a lash artist to be able to grab that. And I had a good tweezer. But when those nurses took the stitches out of my eyes, I literally was show me your tweezers, show me your tools. I want to see what you're using to take this shit out of me. And they were well, we open new ones each time, but they're always hand tested and sanitized. And I was okay, do your work, but that's how important it is. And they were just taking stitches out of my skin. They weren't gluing shit right up next to my eyeballs. And I feel lashes are once you get the muscle memory and you have the foundations, you know what you're doing, you're fine. If you're learning a new technique, I don't think you need an in-person class. And that's just my opinion. I don't think you need a 2-day class either. And that's where it was actually back when I was taking all of these Russian volume classes, because I was I thought I was learning a new technique, but I kept learning perfect line. And then the day 2 was always a model. And then it was just a bunch of theory it felt like it was just filler to make the class longer. And they were expensive classes. And I was I just keep learning the same thing over and over again. But I feel this technique could very well have been taught to me in 1 day, or it could have been taught to me in person, and if I wanted to do a model in front of a teacher, which a lot of students do, I'm different that way. I don't like doing models in front of the teacher. I do a better job if I take it home and then I'll, whatever, deal with it that way. But a lot of my students have been like, I want to do this in front of you. Like I need a personal training class. And I'm like, perfect, come on in, whatever. But that's when I came up with my idea for a workshop. And I was like, if I'm just teaching maps and texture, this is something that I can teach in one day and cut out a bunch of theory because I'm talking to lash artists that already know the foundations of the basics. That's how I feel about mega volume. That's how I feel about Russian volume. That's how I feel about wet lash look. I do that because like people are calling it angel. I don't know. I see like a bunch of different names for the same stuff, but like if it's a technique, I really do think that it could be taught online or definitely hybrid. But I'm getting off track when it comes to foundational course. I have some friends that have been teaching, Beautylicious Lashes, Ashley and Lash Poppy Hakeem. Lash popping. They teach their foundational course hybrid. So the student gets all of their theory online and they have about, I think they said like a week to get that done. And then they schedule a time to come in and do the in-person model portion. And that's genius in my opinion. So Chelsea says, my issue that I'm facing is that people want to do volume right away. They want to skip classic training, but classic is where you learn all the foundational theory, etc. So, okay. And then this is where I also have kind of an alternative opinion. I don't think that people need to learn classic. Whether they want to or not is a different story. I don't think they need to. So if you've ever taken, or if you know who Trina is from Maven Artistry, I sold the brushes, or I showed you guys the brushes, and I have like a code with her, but I talk about her class all the time. It is really transformative. It's a really great class about shaping and mapping for the individual. But she never learned classic. She learned classic eventually, like 4 years into her career, 5 years. She took a classic class just to see, but she started with volume. And my mom teaches a lot of newbies and she starts them with volume. And now that we have really beautiful pre-mades, I don't see why anybody's got to learn how to use a classic lash at all in the first place. And that's just my personal opinion. I've also, like, we've been talking about going, like, I'm going to go talk to a school, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to go talk about lashes. And if I do a demo, my plan was to actually do a demo with O3s and teach the wet lash look in a newbie style. So I'm going to practice before. I know that sounds a little bit scary, but I don't think that people need to use classic lashes. I don't think that the look is popular right now, but I do understand what you're saying about the foundations. All of that needs to be taught, but I think it can be taught with pre-mades. I think it can be taught with 2D, 3D, 07s. I think it can be taught with O3 little spikes, and that's what I'm going to be teaching. So what I think we're just like in a really big experimental phase in the lash industry and in the online creator industry, like digital workshop creator industry. We are in a big experimental phase. This is brand new. And what's cool about this is, like, do you remember back when people were like, if you get on TikTok now, it's like if you got on Instagram back in like 2010 or whenever it came out. I don't even remember. But it's when they're like telling you to podcast, it's like it's so early, like you think you've missed it because so many people are putting on their online classes on right now, but that's not true. Like a lot of people are trying to get into it because they see that this is the future. So we're still so early in it that it is going to kind of be experimental, and that can kind of suck, like trying to figure it out, but you're just gonna have to rework things and try things differently and just see what works for you. I don't think in black and white. I don't think there's right or wrong. I just think there's different ways of doing things. So, Liz, wait. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So I could add all the foundational theory into my volume course. Yes. No. Oh, wait, where did that just go? There really is no right or wrong way. I agree. And then Liz says, I always include my full foundational manual when somebody takes a volume class, no matter what, I want them to have that info. It works. I think that's super smart too, because I've also had a lot of newer lash artists come to my very advanced workshop, and I don't know that they're new until I start hearing their questions. And I'm like, oh shit, this bitch is new. Like, she didn't read the fine print, the not very fine print, that this is for an advanced tech. Like, it is not for a newbie, but people will take your class anyway. So it's always good to go over the foundational stuff every single time. That's why I'm saying when I split up Layer Slayer, I'm still going to keep like the intro, the lashing in layers, the foundational part of it. It's still going to be in each one. And then we're going to get into the actual technique, right? But the foundation, the theory, that's going to be in every single one of those mini courses, because you never know who is maybe unknowingly jumping ahead too. So Liz says the foundational theory could be taught with anything, but as long as the theory is there, the application can be done with anything. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And honestly, like if I was to start doing lashes right now, and me and Steven joke about this a lot, and mainly Steven, he's like, if I went back to lashing, he was like, there's no way I would make my own fans. I would just pre-made everybody. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that that will be the future of like newer lash classes. Pre-mades are so great and they're done so well now. It's something that like I've used as a stepping stone, not personally, but when teaching. If you're going to do volume, you're going to teach volume, you give people pre-mades, you teach them how to use the pre-mades. And then it's like, once you get good with the pre-mades, then, you know, you try making your handmade fan or your handmade fans. That's how you can customize your sets, right? But you got to get your attachment, you got to get your placement, you got to make sure you don't have stickies, like all that shit first. And that's going to be a lot easier to do with a pre-made, in my opinion. Do you worry about them not being licensed in their state? Like can we get in trouble for teaching an unlicensed person how to lash? Okay. I'm all, this is where we have some hot takes. Okay, so I have personally trained people that are unlicensed in Arizona. And by people, two people. And I did it knowing that they were unlicensed. And we had a talk about it. So I wouldn't just train anybody, because I'm not trying to have that reputation. And when I think of my lash career, and I think all of us are the same way, that's why we're in this workshop together. We all have the understanding that this is the long game. We have a reputation that we're building over time. It's not a money grab. It's not a sprint. It's not a get rich quick. So I have taught unlicensed people, knowing that, and lashes are regulated in Arizona. I'm in Florida now, and they are regulated here too. But I'm from Idaho, and they're not regulated there. Anybody could take my class, but I don't check either. Like, I don't make them upload their license or prove it or anything like that. And I don't think you can get in trouble, because you're not certifying them to actually do lashes in the state. You're certifying them on your technique of doing lashes. But back to why I trained these two people, both of them were people I knew outside of the industry. One was my client, who was a nurse, and she was like, will you give me a training in this? Because I want to see if it's something that I want to invest in, because I don't want to go to school and get a license. And she just, I mean, she was a nurse. She knew what it was like to go to school and spend a bunch of money and then not like her career. She was like, will you give me a training? And then I'll know if I'm going to go to school and get my license. And I was like, absolutely. I'll fucking train you. And so I trained her and she ended up getting her license and going to school. Another lady was, she wanted to know volume. She was already doing lashes unlicensed. And I mean, I'm pretty anti-establishment in the first place. So I'm just like, whatever, dude, like this isn't on me. But she was like, will you teach me mega volume? Can I come to, she came to my, my Layer Slayer workshop. I knew she was unlicensed and I let her come and I was like, yeah, like, yes, like she already did great work. She did it unlicensed. She fucking even I don't want to get into the specifics, but she got around it with the wording of this in like with state board, because Arizona State Board is just simply, they're just not smart. Anyway, but I was like, yeah, you already do lashes, whatever. And then she was like, I'm moving to Texas anyway, and I have to go get licensed in Texas and I'm going to do their program. And I was like, whatever, come to class. And she did great. She was one of the best lash artists I knew. So those were my two instances. So I'm saying it's never black and white for me. It's always, it just depends. Where I struggle with pricing is that because lashes and spray tans are not regulated here, there's a huge range of pricing. Okay, so Chelsea, this is where you get to charge whatever the fuck you want. Exactly. Thank you, Liz. Because you are the professional, you are educating, you are the one that's going to have classes up online. You are going to have the best website. You are going to have headshots. You know what I mean? Like that's actually a great question. And I've noticed a huge range in Idaho too. I used to teach a lot of classes in Idaho. And I noticed some people would charge the littlest amount and they were great artists. But then there would be people that just acted like their shit didn't stink. And they were like, you know what? Nope, I charged the most amount. And people paid, they had clients. And the thing with charging more is you don't have to have as many clients. That's the best part. And I could go off on this all day. I'm going to try not to, but I will say that in Arizona, me and about 4 friends kind of made a pact to all raise our prices at the same time. And the standard for volume / mega volume there was around like $70 to $85 for a fill. And we all raised our prices at the same time to $130 for a fill. And people ship bricks, yes, US. And like, and it was funny though, because the people that ship bricks were the actual artists. They were like, what do you guys think you're doing? And then once we barely lost any clients, everybody else was like, wait, if they can raise, I can raise. And what it did, and we were like the educators, I'd say we were a little bit more well-known in our town, and it just made everybody's prices raise, and everybody felt like they could raise their prices a little bit more because it was justified. But I will say there were clients that probably would have never even come to us when our prices were lower, that we got later. We became more in demand because we said, we charge this much because we're actually this good. And we became more in demand. And it was just fucking weird. It was a really cool experiment. And like, there was a girl not that long ago at a conference. She was like, because of you, I remember everyone in town was able to raise their prices. And I was like, oh my God, it like made me want to cry, because I was like, that's exactly like, it's not why I did it, but that's like exactly what I want to hear when I do something fucking weird like that. You said it's me, I'm that client. I'm also that client. Like, if you don't charge kind of the higher end or more than anybody else, I'm a little bit iffy about you. I want to go to the person that's confident enough that charges a lot. Like with my nail girl, like my nails are super cute and she charges more than anybody in town, which I'm in Florida now. People don't charge a lot for anything. It's weird. We're going to change that. But she charges like the most. And I was like, I want to get in with you. And she was booked out forever, but I like messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm like speaking at an event. I'm actually like hosting a conference. Like, will you do my nails? And she was like, fuck yeah, I'll do your nails. Like, just shout me out, whatever. And I was like, cool. And I got in with her and it was totally worth it. But like, I went through the trouble of that because she charges the most. And I didn't even really look at other people. I was just like, her work's good. She charges a lot. She's got to be good. And she is. Okay, so let's get back on track. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And I'm just going to go to this and I'm going to pop through this really quick because we got to get rolling here. But when you are doing, you know, stuff online, these are some pricing suggestions. And what I'll do is I will upload these slides to your student portal so that you can go back through these and look at them. But I'm going to be going over just ebook, mini course, workshop, course, a program, which is more what you were talking about with like a 7-day newbie program. I think this is more what you're building. So it gets, you know, again, it's kind of like because you're doing something innovative, you kind of have to try different things and just see what works. And then a subscription, which is something that's very new to me, but this is what I'm doing now with Beauty Educator's Blueprint. So with ebook, you're going to do, it's going to be a PDF file, downloadable, 1 to 200 pages. I think anything over 200 pages is literally just insane. Like turn it into a workshop, but you're going to make it very affordable and it's going to help you build your list. It's not gonna be like a huge money maker. Like I said, like my ebook was great. Oh shit. I'll tell you guys on Voxer later. I looked it up one time to see how many of those I sold, but I know I sold around like $5,000 worth, but I was surprised how many I sold, but then they went out of style. Like I said, like that ebook. So I sold around 185, but 185 people got on my email list. So it's an email list builder. And it's a great lead. So a lead is something where you're going to put this out and those people that are interested, now you have their emails and you can retarget them to try and sell them something like your mini course. And a mini course is going to be 1 to 2 videos. You don't want to make it too long. So this is what I'm going to do with my layers layer. I'm going to break it up into a bunch of little mini courses. So 1 to 2 video or 1 to 2 hours, you're going to make it affordable. And I mean, I'm telling you, I think I've done a few polls on my Instagram stories recently. And this is, oh, I forgot my face is gone. Hey there. Not that it matters, but I've done a bunch of polls on my Instagram stories, and this is overwhelmingly what people are looking for. I'm like, when you have an online course, would you like an ebook? Do you want a mini course that's affordable and straight to the point? Would you like a program that you work through with a trainer, giving you help, whatever? So like what we're doing is way more niche, way more in depth, but people it was like 80% were like, give me a mini course. It's a great introduction to your teaching style. It's a great introduction to the information that you're going to be giving them in a larger course or in an in-person course. And it's an email list builder. So I said anywhere from $25 to $99. I'd say now probably anywhere from $25 to like $250, depending on the information. So like I said, for my If I'm just giving out one technique, one strip lash look, I'm going to put it somewhere between 70 and 90 something dollars, because I'm going to hopefully get them to bundle, or eventually I'm going to hopefully get them to buy, you know, my larger course, or maybe they want to start, you know, educating, or maybe they want to buy my products. We gotta get lots of streams of income here. Okay. We're in a recession. Just kidding. I don't like to say that. I like to pretend like nothing's happening. Okay, so a workshop. This is more like my Layer Slayer workshop. I would say that this is like if you were going to do like a volume or a mega volume or a spray tan, it would be more like a workshop. Wait, I had a, oh, there we go. So yeah, your spray tan class, I would say would maybe be more like a workshop. You're going to have several videos, chapters. You're going to have some supplements. So the supplements that I'm talking about is maybe you're going to make some worksheets that go along with it. I kind of forgot to talk about this, but basically I like to make little worksheets like you would a workbook, and then just put it in as something that they download. And for the people that like to take notes, they can print it out and they can take notes. For this class, I didn't create like any supplements, but like for our first class, we had the template for a lash manual. So something like that, or you can do worksheets. But I'd say it would be 3 to 6 hours of information. It's not going to be something that somebody will do all in one day. If they're like me, though, I would probably do it all in one day because I'm crazy. It's going to be more of an investment. So this is going to be something that they are going to probably buy after they've heard about it multiple times, after they've had a freebie from you, after they've been following you for a while. They trust you. It's great passive income because your funnel will be selling this for you. Okay, so your freebies, your mini workshops, it's going to be leading up to this. So that's the only thing. I fucking hate that term passive income. I should probably even just like erase that. We'll just say this, you know what? It's great income. Let's just get rid of that. It's good income. It can be passive, but you also still have to work so hard doing all the other things leading up to it. One of the best things that my friend Carol has told me, the one we're going to have guest speak, is that you want to take your students on a journey through your workshops, on a journey with you. So you want to start with the free stuff. You want to, gain their trust so that then they are willing to buy a smaller workshop, and then, or a mini course with you, or an ebook with you. And then you want to, you take them on that journey. They start to trust you. They start to, they like you already. Like they're going to buy something that eventually, if you want to do something larger, like I am my membership, it's usually because somebody has been with me for a while. We've built a relationship. So you want to take them on that journey with you. And you want to take them on the journey with you just in your marketing style. This is kind of off subject, but when you're marketing yourself, it's good to be honest and be like, listen, I'm on this journey of like building this thing. Like people want to see you grow, because if you can show the truth of your growth, now they trust that you can help them grow the way that you have grown. Anyway, it's more, it's a great intro to your teaching style in person. So, like Carly, for example, who's in this class, she's probably lashing right now, but she took my in-person Layer Slayer, and then we connected and we've seen each other at conferences, and now she trusts me enough to join this larger thing. So she's like gone on this journey with me. But I'd say it's a great intro into your teaching style if they do want to take your in-person. I'm just doing admin for the salon stuff. Dude, you work more than anyone I know. It's fucking crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but I mean, it's a lot. Anyway, I would charge, she says, but yes, I trust you with my life and my wallet. You're so sweet. But it's because we've known each other for a while. You've seen me go through these different phases, and it's probably because I'm maybe a little too honest, but some people appreciate that. Some people want a very clean, polished program and branding, but some people don't. So it really is just about being authentic to who you are. You'll attract the people that enjoy that about you. So just don't try to pretend to be the other thing. I used to try and pretend to be polished, and I tried to make everything aesthetically pleasing, and it was so exhausting. And I was like, if this is what it is, owning my own business, I don't want it. So I just tried to just do it my own way, and turns out that works too. There's no right or wrong way. Anyway, so a workshop online, I have 99 to 499 here, but like I said, with my kit, my class it's about $650, my online workshop. So I'm actually going to change this, but again, there's no right or wrong. I would say now, I don't know why this isn't letting me. Okay, weirdo. This is a really old slide. Maybe that's what's happening here. Oh, okay. I would say now probably like 250 to 1,000. Just in my opinion, for a workshop. Okay. And then for a course, if you want to do something that is like a full ass, like course, like online, I'm trying to think of something like if you wanted to do like the Russian volume online course with all the theory, all the stuff, I'll just give you my honest opinion here. I think these are phasing out. I don't think that they sell. I know I had a bunch of friends that are trainers now, like pretty famous in the industry, like Designer Pro, Eyelash Stina, J Brand, if you guys remember those two, like they all were hired by Sugar Lash Pro back in the day. And like you Canadians will probably remember this one. They put out a fuckload of a training back in the day. And they were like, we're going to be the first with this big online training. It was beautiful. It was polished. They like really fucked my friends over. So I feel like this is karma, but like not that many people bought it. And the people that did were just like, ooh, kind of unimpressed because it was so expensive and it was so much money. And I will say that this was kind of like my first round of my Beauty Educator Blueprint. It was almost too much all at once. And it was too much money. So it was like, it was hard for people to get through it. So I don't highly suggest doing this. But I do feel like there's a time and place for everything. Chelsea says, what was this? It was their really big online, I think it was like I don't know, it was like an online lash course. I think it was beginner and volume all online. They hired like 10 different trainers. They had 1 million different videos. Oh, Sugar Lash Pro. Sugar Lash? Are those the big ones in Canada? Or they used to be? I don't know. Yeah, they just really took advantage of my friends. Yeah, it was like $2,000. Oh, 2014 to 2000. Yes. But it was like $2,000 or $3,000. It was like $2,600. And so I'm still burnt on them. they took a lot, like they took the information from those trainers that taught it every day and they made them sign a contract and they stole it right out from under them. And I think they're sneaky little bitches. And I will say that to anyone at any time. I'll say it to Chelsea to her face. She says it's kind of the MO. Isn't that her name? Chelsea? No, it's Courtney. Yes. No, she like doesn't even, okay, I can't talk shit on this. That's crazy. Anyway, I don't trust large companies that I've seen take advantage of smaller businesses and smaller educators and artists. And they have done that so many times, and other companies have too, but that one specifically has done that to multiple of my close friends, and I don't like them. So an online program, this again, this is where I think this is more like what you're talking about with like the 7-day situation, with having 4 days online, and then I think that's what you said, or 3 days online, 4 days in person. I would call this like a program, and you might even do this in drip segments, which just means, okay, you're gonna have multiple sections and categories, but a drip segment, again, it just means that you will release the information a little bit at a time. So maybe you will have a section and you're like, do this week or this day, and then tomorrow you'll get more information and it'll automatically put the new information in the next day. So they'll get more information each day. You don't have to do a drip, but you can. 3 online with practice materials and 4 days of in-person. And honestly, that's so cool. I would have loved having a program like that as a newbie, because you're going to leave that feeling actually confident in like taking clients. Like, that's so cool. I love that you're doing that. And I'm really excited to see like your journey and how that works out for you, because I hope a lot more people do it. And I hope that it becomes more successful. I know in the United States, it's slowly getting to be more accepted that we can have these like 300-hour programs to get a lash license. And this is kind of what it is doing. And it's making it more realistic, but for a lot of people in most of our states, they have to go to aesthetic school. They have to get like a $10,000 license to then have to go pay for lash training afterwards. So it's really hard, but like, hopefully things will kind of change. But that's something that you could really, I'm like, I know you're in Canada, but if it's not regulated in a lot of states here, like you could travel and teach this here in our unregulated states. And I bet a lot of people would like that. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and it's been amazing. Oh, you've been doing it. Oh, I remember you said that you're going to team up with somebody. Yes. Dude, that's fucking awesome. I love that. I'm going to talk to you more about that later, just because I want the dirt. I want to know the deets. So yeah, a program online like that. Anyway, I'll have these all updated drip segments. You'll have supplements, you'll have live support. Obviously, you're gonna have those 4 days, 10 to 30 hours worth of information online. It's gonna be an investment, and it's not gonna be passive income. It is, but it will be income. But you are building a relationship with these students to hopefully continue, you know, your journey with them. And then the last thing I'll talk about is an online subscription. So if you get to a point, and I would even say for you, actually, for all of us, I think we should all consider this. I think subscription is cool. And if you know who the Lashpreneur is, she's the first one. She was the pioneer to do this. It's a subscription where new lash artists can come, and she puts a lot of information in there. She helps them build their business. She helps them gain clients, retain clients, do their taxes, like all this crap. that I would never know how to teach people how to do, but whatever it is that's your forte, like for you with spray tanning, you could have a subscription where you continue to put in different techniques and things that you've learned business wise, etc. And for you putting on your these newbie courses, like you could consider a subscription. And I'm actually going to change the price of this one as well, because I think your subscriptions can start as little as literally like $17 to $500 a month. I've seen some subscriptions, which with coaches that are $3,000 a month, but that's more of like a coaching program. But I have seen a subscription to somebody who has a really built out online vault of information that they charge $1,500 a month. And then it's like a 3 to 6 month subscription period. But for newbies, maybe you keep them in and you keep them interested and help them with their new businesses, even after they're out of your course. And maybe something as low as $17 or $27 a month for them to keep coming to you and having group discussions and asking questions about, you know, what do I do about this client, or how do I fire this client? How do I raise my prices? I'm having, you know, retention issues with one person, stuff like that. Chelsea says, I have all of these things written out to do. I just don't know how to do a subscription. Tech things are the biggest headache of my business. So subscriptions are, they are included with both Kajabi and with Pretty Dash. A subscription is an option. And so the subscription, really, you would do the payment through, okay, I'm going to stop my share here. You would do the payment through, like I do the payment through Kajabi. So it automatically charges you on the same day every month. And then it's up to you how you want to do your information. So for me, you guys saw yesterday the inside of Beauty Educator's Blueprint. That's where I update everything. A lot of people, so the Lashpreneur, I know that she did her subscription in a Facebook group, but it was a closed Facebook group. And that's also how my friend Carol does it. And she does everything in there. She'll go live in there. They'll have group discussions in there. I'm doing it this way. And then now I'm adding the Voxer, which is just it's literally a walkie-talkie app. So, and then also Carol, where my friend Carol, who is a coach, and she has coaching students that literally pay her like $15,000 to work with her. She uses Slack, which is another app where you can send each other like larger files and things like that. Like she says she likes them for different things, but it is up to you, like where you want to hold the actual information. I also know on Kajabi, there is something called community where you can put everybody into a community and you can talk through there, but everyone has to log into Kajabi to do it. I don't love it. We've kind of looked at it. I don't know. I bet they'll make it better later, but it's just not that good right now. Chelsea says, I have a website through Wix already and my payments go through Square. Would I need to add Pretty Dash? Yes. So if you have a website through Wix, how much do you love your website? Because Wix is just I would say it's just a little bit behind when it comes to, I don't know, features. If you could move it over to Pretty Dash, things would go through a lot more seamlessly. You could get rid of Wix, you could get rid of Square, and you could just use Pretty Dash and as your website, your email list, and your payment taker. So technical. Also, you pay monthly with Pretty Dash, but they don't take a percentage of your payment when it goes through. So sometimes it's easier just to have everything all in one place. And also, Chelsea, it depends on how big you want it to be and how many programs and freebies you want, because once you get into the larger amounts, that's when I would suggest maybe looking into Kajabi. It's so much more expensive, but it can just hold so much more. So I would look at both. But while we're here, let's talk about kits, because we're running out of time. And like, I might have to just like make up, actually, I might like pre-record something and upload it afterwards, just so that we're not here forever, about the sales page. But we'll walk through it really quickly, and then maybe we'll update something. But let's watch Steven's. He made us some tutorials, and I want you guys to see this. So when you have a class online, a lot of the time people will they'll need a kit with it. So he gave us a little tutorial on how you would send out a kit. With Kajabi, it connects through an app called Zapier to Shopify. So with Kajabi, it's almost like you need Shopify, but they connect to each other. So when somebody buys a class from me and they choose a kit, it automatically creates an order for the kit, and then it goes to my warehouse. And then whether it's Steven or my husband fulfilling orders, they are able to send out the kit. And it's seamless that way. I'm assuming, I don't know, does anybody in here have a product line or plans on having a product line eventually? Because if you're not going to have a full product line or wholesale a bunch of other people's product lines, I don't suggest getting Shopify. It's really for a lot of products. I'm dying. Liz says, hell no. Bah. No, I'm so with you. Having a product line has been such a learning experience. That's why we're pulling back. We're getting rid of a lot of products, and I am now a boutique product line. Okay. I am a mega volume boutique. I am not a product line. I sell boutique, just whatever I need. Chelsea says, I already paid for a year with Wix, so I'd be losing to switch right now, but if it will be easier, then I will just switch. So it's up to you. You can go do the free 14 days or whatever. If you're really considering switching to Pretty Dash, I would schedule, I don't want to like pimp Steven out and say like schedule a call with Steven, but like definitely message Pretty Dash. I'll hit you up about this afterwards. Okay. Because if you're serious, I think that you might need to just be walked through so that we can we'll talk about it and see if it's worth the switch. Because if it's not worth it, then don't switch now. But if it's going to make everything easier in the long run, it might be worth it. Okay, so let me pull this up here. I'm going to screen share. This is our little class. This is what it looks like right now. Put your beauty class online. So getting started, I put this up here this morning. I knew I was going to do it last night, but it didn't get done. So this is yesterday's class, and oh shit, I thought I erased that. I'm gonna have to fix that. This information is wrong, so don't look at that. But this is yesterday's video. How to edit videos. I'm just going to give you this little tutorial that he made on Final Cut Pro. He likes using this, and his videos look a lot better than mine because I use iMovie and it's very simple, but we'll just do like this little tutorial that he made on Final Cut Pro.
Hey, beauty educators, Steven here. I just wanted to give you a quick little tutorial on how to edit videos as a part of your Beauty Educator subscription. And if you purchased the video for the Put Your Beauty class online. It'll be a quick tutorial. It's pretty simple. I use Final Cut Pro, which is an Apple product. You can get a 90-day free trial, which is nice. So you could essentially try this out for free off of what I do. But for the most part, most video editors kind of have similar settings and the way you do things. So you could watch this and probably use a different editor. But like I said, I'm using Final Cut Pro. It is an Apple product and you get a 90-day free trial to use it. So I would recommend that you download that to do the free trial and kind of follow along with me.
Okay, so you guys can watch that on your own time, because that was kind of stuff we talked about yesterday, but I just wanted to show you that that is in there. So we're going to talk about how to ship your kits. Oh, wait, I want to talk to you really quick. These 2 videos he just uploaded, these also are on Pretty Dash. I know you have questions about Pretty Dash, and is it best to use Final Cut Pro with an Apple computer or an iPad? Steven, can you use it with the iPad? I know yeah, okay, computer. It has to be used with the computer. So he put these 2 other little tutorials on here because the way that I showed you how to download a video and just put it right into Kajabi, it's a little bit different on Pretty Dash, but it's still very simple. So he gave us a couple more little tutorials. Okay, so Carly says, what about a different computer than an Apple one? He says only Apple. So we're going to try and figure out what the fuck everybody likes to use on the PC. I swear to God, it's almost like how there's like Republicans and Democrats, there's like Apple people and then like PC people, and like no one's ever going to change. Like that's just how it is. Like people don't switch over. It's like a once in a lifetime. The Canadians are like, you Americans are stupid. Did you say Apple people are mean girls? Oh my God, I'm dying. No, I only use Apple, like seriously, because it's just easier. Like it's not anything else. It's just easier. Like I've tried the other things and I used to have to use them for work, and they just like PC just, it doesn't connect with my phone. It doesn't connect with my iPad. Like if I just use Apple, it all connects, it all works. And then I don't have to worry about shit. So anyway, I don't know what the best, yeah, the virus thing. I forgot that used to be a thing. We will do some research. You can do your own research too. Obviously, you're an adult, and just see what the best editor is. But all the editors are really similar, whether they're Final Cut Pro, iMovie, or ones that you have to use on the PC. Here I am about to go get an Apple computer. I'm telling you, my MacBook Pro is like, it is the jam. Adobe Premiere is what Steven is suggesting. And Steven's like he's an editing king over here. Okay, so the way I showed you how to add a video to Kajabi, it's a little bit different when you're adding it to Pretty Dash. So he made a tutorial with that here. You can see it's 4 minutes. So it's really simple. And he can show you that. Let's just look inside of Pretty Dash because.
Hey, Pretty Builders. Today, I'm going to show you how to add.
I like to show inside of Pretty Dash just because it's so cute. Like probably with Apple again, just easy, cute. Those things sell it for me.
Videos to your Pretty Dash website. This may be good for courses or just to have videos on your site in general, on your pages. I'm going to go over the several options that you can use. Now, before I get into it, I do want to say that Pretty Dash does not natively allow you to upload videos. There are a lot of features on Pretty Dash, and if we allowed you to upload videos, your website would be super bloated and super slow, and that's not good for SEO. So
Okay, and just to I had to ask him this yesterday just to translate. Native means you can't upload it straight into the website. The video has to live somewhere else because the file is so big that it can't be right inside of the website. So it would make your website way too slow. So that's why he's saying like it would make it bloated, it would make it slow, and it would not work very good.
wow, I just rhymed, but that's not good for SEO. So you definitely want to have a fast website. So we use several options such as YouTube. You can use Vimeo videos. We actually use what's called Spotlighter, which is a great video service because you can have interactive videos. You can have buttons pop up on the videos and stuff like that. But if you use some other video service that gives you an embed code, you can put it on your Pretty Dash. So we're first just going to go and add a new page, a blank one, so I can show you how this works. So now that we're on a blank page, we're going to add a video widget. So scroll down through the widgets and grab the video widget here. Now, the video source is going to be where you put the YouTube URL or the embed code from Vimeo or Spotlighter. So let's first start with YouTube. So I grabbed a URL from a YouTube video and I'm just going to paste it right here. Click enter. And now the video will show up on your page. You can also put a custom thumbnail over the video just in case you don't maybe want it to look like this. You could have some sort of picture that says click play or something. So what that looks like, let me just grab a random picture here. We'll use this random background picture. So that's what it would look like now instead of showing the YouTube video. And as I said, you can also add your Vimeo embed URL here, or I'm going to show you right now using Spotlighter. And in Spotlighter, you can upload videos, you can create quizzes. And as I said, you can actually make your videos interactive. So you can add closed captions on your videos if that's something that you want, and you can add buttons that pop up during the video. So that would be good for something if you were doing like a webinar and you wanted a button to pop up for selling your course, you could do that, which is really cool. Spotlighter is also really inexpensive. You can get a plan that's $9 a month and you get 25 videos, or I think the other plan is around $20 a month and you can get unlimited videos. So I'm just going to grab this embed code here from Spotlighter and we'll paste it into the video source section here. Click enter. And now that video is here. Let me get rid of this custom thumbnail so you can see it. So as you can see, the Spotlighter video is now there as well. So there's several options. If you have a video platform such as Wistia or another one that maybe I don't know about, as long as you have an embed code like this, you can put it into the video source section and you will see the video pop up. And also, depending on what video platform you're using, you can also just put the URL like I did from YouTube, and it can try and grab the video for you. But for best measure, I would just get the embed code from most other places. But YouTube, you can just use the YouTube URL of the video. So I hope that helped you understand how to add videos to your Pretty Dash website. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me at hello@prettydash.co or follow on Instagram @prettydashboard. Until next time.
Steven, why are you like so cute on your video? Okay, and then how to add a slideshow to your site. This is going to be kind of similar. So that's, again, I'm just going to let you guys watch that on your own time. Okay, so let's watch the ship your kids. So like I said, with mine, before, and I'll just pop my face in here really quick. Before I had it all set up with Shopify and I had it streamlined where it just automatically set up an order, what I would do, because it's not like you're going to get a fucking, you're not going to get like 85 classes with kits in your first day. Like if you do, then fuck yeah, you'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. But when they're coming in just like one at a time, it's not hard to just put together a kit and, you know, ask them for their information when they sign up for the class, for the shipping information. And then you just create a kit and you go to the post office like a normal person. So, but that's kind of what we did then. But let's talk about like with Pretty Dash, it's kind of similar. So we'll play this video.
The educators, Stephen here. I'm going to show you today how to create the product for your course to sell and then how you're able to ship a kit afterwards. Now, some of you may have not used Pretty Dash before, and that's totally okay. I have many other tutorials on how to set up your actual website, but today we're just going to focus on the product part of it. So what we're first going to do is head here to our store and go to products, and we will add product. Now we're going to add a digital product today. I know that you may think, oh, it's a physical product, but we're going to do a digital product today because you may have a workbook or any other kind of PDF or digital materials that you want them to have after they purchase. And by choosing a digital product, this will allow you to do that. So when they purchase the product, they will automatically get sent those materials. So go ahead and click on digital product, and we will just put in test course name. You can fill out your description however you want here. And then, you can create your price for your course. Let's say it's $9.97. You can also choose to make it a subscription product. So if you didn't want it to be the full $9.97 and maybe you wanted to charge $197 recurring, you could have it ongoing payments of, let's say, 3 payments, charge every month, $197. That's how you could set that up. And like I said, it's a digital product. And here is where you're going to put your workbook or any other material that you have. So I'll just upload something random here, a picture, but pretend this is a workbook. And so when someone purchases this, they're going to get sent this picture as a link in their email. But if you have a workbook, it would be a PDF that they would get sent. So we will go ahead. And here you can add your photo for your course. You could put it in a category, but if you're just selling a course, I wouldn't worry too much about the categories. The categories are more for if you had like a full-fledged store and you wanted to categorize everything. I'm going to show you how you can put this product onto a sales page to be able to sell anyway, so the category doesn't matter too much. You can change the URL of your product, so if someone searches it in Google, they might find it, and you can also edit the SEO settings here. So we'll go ahead and save this sales page where you can sell your course. So head back to the builder, and you can also use funnels alternatively to sell your courses where if you want to take them on more of a journey. But today I'm just going to show you how to set up a simple sales page. And I don't mean simple in it's just a few words. No, this is a really robust sales page, but simply just one page. So go ahead and go to here, click add new for pages, and we're going to choose page. And we're going to choose course sales page. Now I have one right here that's ready to go for you. And so we'll name this course sales page. And we will let it populate. So as you can see, this is a pretty long and robust course sales page. It has all your modules and everything about your course, your bonuses, testimonials, everything. You can always delete blocks out of here if you don't feel like you need them by just highlighting the block and deleting them. But I do recommend that you go through and fill all of this out if you're going to be using Pretty Dashboard. So that way you can have a really robust page for them. But all I really want to show you is how we can get them to that actual product. So on the enroll button is where we want to put a link to that product that we just created. So go ahead and click on the button, click edit link, and we will click store. And so then now we have where we can choose that product. So we'll choose the actual product, test course name, the one we just created, select that and save it. So now when we preview this and someone were to click this, if they're ready to enroll, it would bring them to the course page where they can add this to their cart. So we'll go ahead and add this to the cart just so we can see the flow of it, go to the checkout, stuff in there, and now we can proceed to the checkout. So as you can see here, they can fill out all their information, and this is what you want to be able to ship their kits. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the address in here, so that way they can give you their address so you can ship out your physical kits to them. Okay, and before we get to the next part, I will have links below in your student dashboard on the Lash Anarchist portal, on your student portal, that show other links to YouTube videos I created on how to actually set up all your store and all the settings and all of that. So you don't feel like, oh my gosh, like what am I even going to do here? I need to know how to set up my store. So don't worry about that. This is just showing you how you could sell your course from your sales page and how you can get their address so you can ship them their kit. So here in your orders section in your store is where you can get that information about their address. So if I were to click on my name here, so you could grab this information and put it into, wherever you're going to ship it from. If you're going to ship it directly from USPS, you could just use this information to be able to ship to them. You could use another website called Shippo, which you can put this information in and you can get discounts on the shipping providers, kind of whatever you want to do. If maybe you have a separate like Shopify site or something else, you could always put that information in there as well. So basically, you just go to your store, go to the orders, and that's where you can get all of the information about them and their address and all of that. I want to show you one more thing because I think it's kind of important. Remember how I said when someone purchased your product and they were sent that digital file, maybe a workbook or whatever, to their email? I also like to set it up to where they get sent to a custom thank you page after they purchase, just in case they don't check their email. Maybe it goes to spam, whatever the case may be. I like to have your workbook or your, supplemental materials shown twice to them. That way you can make sure they get what you are trying to give to them. So, someone clicks enroll now, whatever, they purchase, they get sent the email with the digital file, but then I also want them to be sent to a thank you page after they purchase with the digital file on it. So what we're going to do is create another page real quick, and I'll show you how to link that up into that product. So click add new page, and then we're going to choose one of these thank yous. We'll just use a basic thank you page and let that populate. So, here, thank you for your purchase. You could put more information. You could put in next steps by using widgets and using icons and other text to give them next steps or whatever. And then instead of this saying go to courses, we're going to change this to download workbook. So now that we have this download workbook button, we're going to go ahead and add the file in there. So right here in the link, the file would be your workbook. So then when someone clicks on this button after they've purchased, it will download that file. So let's just test it. So cool. It downloaded that picture. It's not necessarily a workbook, but if you put a PDF in there, it would do the same thing. So now that we have our thank you page set up, we're going to head back to the store. We're going to go back to that product. And then we're going to go down to custom thank you page right here and choose that page that we just created. So now when someone purchases this course, they will get sent the file to their email and they'll be sent to this custom thank you page.
All right. Well, hold on. Need to look at this chat really quick. Steven said you can also connect Pretty Dash to Zapier, which is an app that connects to Shopify. So you can connect Pretty Dash to Shopify. So that's good to know. And there's a video for that on YouTube on how to connect Zapier to Ship. And I'm just going to show you really quick since we're on here, but oh, wow, really? But he also has so many videos on here, so many tutorials on different things that you might need to know if you can't figure out whatever, like how to SEO your beauty website. That's like kind of deep. How to send a digital file after someone submits a form. So that's like kind of what we just looked at. How to add a portfolio to your website, how to give member access, funnel dashboard, how to send an email campaign to your subscribers. So how to send an email to your email list. So all of that is on here. Like he has so many tutorials and I know he just adds more all the freaking time. So, anyway, let's look at these questions. Let's see. Sorry, I got to scroll to the bottom here. Can you add more than one document in, like if you have worksheets and stuff? So he says you could add them on the thank you page with buttons that will download them. Steven said Zapier connects to any other platform. Zapier is just like a connection. It just connects platforms together, right, Steven? So they like can read each other, they can talk to each other. So yeah, it's getting a little more complicated, but like for most of us, honestly, we just need, like, if I didn't have so many products, I wouldn't use Shopify. But there also is like, let me screen share one more time here. But like even on here, how to set up your online beauty store on Pretty Dash. So like you actually can add physical products to Pretty Dash as well. So there's a lot of options. Again, it just really depends on like your business, what is most important for your business and what you need. There's also other platforms. Like we're only talking to you about Kajabi and Pretty Dash because that's what we know and that's what we're good at using. Like that's what we understand. So that's what we're teaching you. It doesn't mean that the principles aren't very much the same with Wix. Like I know you can do physical products with Wix and Squarespace and things like that. So I would just go ahead and see what works out best for you. We're just kind of giving you like an inside into what works for us and how we like to do it. It is 2:00 and I know that like, I was like, well, I finished early, but we didn't even get to a sales page. I'm going to blow through the sales page so fast. If you want to take notes really quick, but what I am going to do is I'm going to build this out a little bit more. I'm just going to record a tutorial and upload it just like Steven did. And I'm going to add that in there probably tomorrow is what I'll end up doing. But it will be there. But if you want to start working on a sales page right now, I'm just going to run you through this really quick. But some things that you want to make sure you have on your sales page is the name of your class. And I could really go off forever on the name of the class too. Lately, what I've been trying to do, because I've been doing a class every single month, I haven't been getting very creative. Every time I get too creative, sometimes it just doesn't translate. So like everything in Beauty Educator's Blueprint, which I feel like very much describes what I'm doing. I'm using names like build a beauty course, put your course online, things like that. But you want to have the name of your class, and then you want to have a headline. So you want to have something that describes like what the class is about. If you are doing it live, you want to put the date, you want to put the price. A lot of the time the price is at the bottom, but I've been hearing lately, and this is something you could play around with, is something I might play around with too, is that some people are annoyed that they have to scroll all the way to the bottom to find the price of the course. So maybe sometimes it can pay to put the price up on the page a little bit earlier, but a lot of the times creators don't do that because they want to convince you that you want the course first before you see the price, right? So it's just kind of up to you. Another thing is you'll notice that there's buttons, a few buttons all the way down. So that you can say like, okay, I've seen enough. Yeah, I want this class. And then you can read more. And then it's like, yeah, I want this class. And I'll show you what I mean in a sec. You want to include social proof. So that's when those reviews come in really handy. You want a call to action. A call to action is telling somebody to do something. You can't just be like, here's my class. Enroll now. You need to have something that's like, I can't wait to have you in here, sign up today, let's get together, whatever. You need to tell people to sign up. I make that mistake a lot. I'm just like, look at this class I'm doing, but people almost don't realize that they can sign up until you say, you should sign up. And then they're like, oh, I should. It's the power of suggestion. And then it's really good to have visuals of the class or what's going to be going on in the class or what it's going to look like in the class. This is also really important, especially if you have a class in person. Always put pictures of what it looks like in your class in person. And then it's always great to have a Q&A. So some like common questions or concerns that people have had where you can answer the questions. So I'm just going to, you guys have probably all seen my Beauty Educator Blueprint sales page. Let's see. Let's look at pretty dashes. It's like, this is pretty, it means it says pretty dashboard, but you need a website for your beauty business. It's like right the F there. And then how I said you need buttons, like all the way through the page, like there's a button already right there, 14-day trial, no credit card required. So it tells you right away, right? So it's taking you through, it's showing you what it's about. It's letting you know what's included, how it works, etc., etc. Start for free, another button, 2 weeks free, another button. So let's go to, I'm just going to show you one that's a little bit different. Layer Slayer. This is my in-person Layer Slayer sales page. And we got Layer Slayer is the name, in person, specifically created for the layering, mapping, or shaping, mapping, strip, flash, look, and procreating, branding, marketing queen of the world you are. So basically, I'm trying to let you know everything that's going to be in the class. Enroll now. So if you click that, it's going to take you over to, this is in Shopify where you're going to buy the class, where it's going to give you a lot more information about the class. I'm showing you some stuff about it. I did not mean that to be so loud, but I just put like a little reel of what it looks like inside of one of my classes. Let's pause that. Damn. Sorry, that was so freaking loud. But I wanted people to see what it looks like inside of the class. So basically just lots and lots of information. And this is not even my sales page. This is the checkout page. But on my sales page, again, you want this one to look good. This is where it's going to sell. So Layer Slayer Workshop. I've got my price right up here because, again, I heard people complaining about that online. I like to learn a lot from comments. So I like to be like a little internet sleuth, and I just like look at what other people post and where people have discussions in comments, especially on TikTok. I learn a lot about what people are thinking. And I'm like, okay, so people don't like scrolling to the bottom for that. Layer Slayer game, we talk about branding, lashing and layers, advanced styling, everything we cover. Kits included, trying to keep all of this very branded as well. And then what our students are saying, this is my social proof. These are comments that I have actually gotten on my online Layer Slayer workshop, or I'll reach out to previous students and I'll be like, hey, like we vibed, will you write me a review? And they will. It's great. So we've got those, we've got our little like, we got our social proof. Again, I like to put my dates and schedule a lot because people don't read. So if there's anything that's very like important to know, put it on there a few times. But the bonus, the branding blueprint. So I forgot to mention that my Layer Slayer online workshop is, it is kind of a hybrid because I used to do a lot about branding actually right in my workshop, but it took up so much time. And sometimes we would spend hours talking about branding and marketing yourself on your social media, stuff like that. So I decided to just put that online, and I created a mini workshop of that I also sell separately online. And but once they pay in full, they get this, and they can take that before we get to class. And then I just briefly go over it in class so that it doesn't take up so much time. And again, I have another button, Enroll in Layer Slayer, if they're ready for it. And then now I have a Q&A. These are the questions that are commonly asked. How long do I have access to the branding blueprint? Forever. See you in class. Enroll now. And then in this class, just because it's online, or I mean, this one's in person, it's a little different, but I do have these disclaimers. And this is something that I haven't really had issues with so far with my online classes, but it would, if you want to, especially with your larger classes, you need to have some sort of like, some fine print. So like for my memberships, like you have to, if you choose the 6 month, you have to keep paying through the 6 months. If you do the 12 months, you have to continue paying through the 12 months. You know, if there's an issue, like reach out to me, but like basically it's non-refundable. It is what it is. There are, I have seen some online classes where they say if you're not happy, you can get a refund like within a certain amount of time, things like that. So just make sure you have yourself covered, especially if you have payment plans on them. And I have found that people, like with my Procreate class, I did have a couple people use the 2 payment plan. So it broke it up. And what I did, instead of having it be like 2 payments where I have to reach out to them or whatever to have the second payment, I put it in a 2-month subscription where they paid half the first month and the second half the second month on the same date. So Liz says, what do you recommend for payment plans? And honestly, this is where I'm still learning a lot. I have friends that have done it all different types of ways. For any class that's like closer to like $400 or $500, I'll do a payment plan here. I'm going to stop this share here. I did the payment plan for the Procreate class just to see if it was something that people wanted. And 2 people did sign up with that payment plan, and it's worked out, like they've fulfilled their payment. So it might be something I start offering for these classes that are about $300. It's just helpful for some people to pay $150 one month and then $150 the next month, because I don't know, then you don't really notice it as much. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I've had less than a handful of failed payments, and I've only had one person who just completely ignored me forever. And that was a Beauty Educator Blueprint person. If it was somebody who had taken the whole class and was very interactive, and this was a long time ago when the Beauty Educator Blueprint was like, it was the $3,000 class. Again, it was so much information, so much coaching, so much work for me. If it was somebody who had really utilized the class and then just didn't pay, I probably would have put that through to collections. Or if you're doing a lot of payment plans, there's companies out there. There's one called Gravy, where they will attempt to recover failed payments for you. And then they just take a percentage of the failed payments that they recover. And so those are always great options. I know people like Amy Porterfield, again, like I look up to her. I always refer to her because she is somebody who's like on a big scale. Like she's like when she sells her online like course making class, when I was in her Facebook group for the weekly calls or whatever, I was in there with like 2,000 people, and it was a $2,000 course. So it's like, it was a lot. But so she probably has a lot of failed payments. So she uses Gravy and whatever. But normally for me, I have just reached out through email and been like, hey, it looks like your card didn't go through. Is there a different one that we can run, or, you know, some other way that we can work this out? And I've talked to other friends too, who have had similar situations. And really it's just kind of one of those things like reaching out. Another thing you could do if you are doing those larger programs where it is like a $4,000 program, maybe what you could do is have them prepay like you would an in-person class. Actually, I probably would do that for an in-person class, even a hybrid class. It would be something like they paid monthly before the class so that everybody's paid up when they get to class. I probably wouldn't allow an in-person student to pay for the class after the class was over, if that makes sense. So you're essentially self-financing. I mean, so what will happen if you are, yeah, she says, I'll consider a drip content with a payment plan. Yes, if it was a drip content, something like that, that would be a good payment plan. So for example, when I did, I think maybe you weren't there for the first part when I was talking about this, but with Beauty Educators, the first time I went through, it was a 6-month, or it was a 4-month program that kind of turned into a 6-month program. It was weird, but the first one was 4 months program. So I broke it in, and it was a drip, but I broke it into 4 payments for people that wanted to pay monthly for 4 months. And it was like $750 a month or something. But if you paid in full, it was like $500 cheaper. So it ended up being like $3,300 if you paid in the payments. And then I gave you a price break if you paid in full. And I do that even with my courses, my smaller courses. So if you want to buy this class, for instance, like the way I did it with the Procreate class, it's a $297 class, but if they paid in 2 payments, it made it essentially $347, I believe, or $327. I need to go double check on that. It just made it a little bit more expensive because I was taking on risk, you know, by letting them have that payment, but it's split up, so it's not as hard. So that's an option. I actually see a lot of online creators do that. If you pay in full, you get a price break. But if you do the payment, you know, it's a little bit more, but then you get to do the payment and it's spread out. So yeah, and it does kind of suck, but I will say when they use Stripe, it will attempt to charge their card like every day. If it doesn't work, it emails you and it's like, it didn't go through, and then it'll try again, and then it'll be like, it didn't go through. And so you'll be notified. So you're just like, hey, like something's up with your card, but it keeps trying. I think it's every day, or maybe it's every week. It's so rare that it happens for me. But I also think that it is something that you definitely, the way I was saying it yesterday, it's almost like in product, like when you have product, you have to price in product loss, like broken product, packages that don't show up, or when people say their tweezers aren't working or whatever. You kind of have to just know that you will take a loss at times, but overall it's still worth it. And there are things that you can do. You can write up a template email of like, hey, notice that your credit card did not go through this, or like your form of payment didn't work this month. Is there a different way that you'd like to do it? We can work with you. We can go through Zelle, Venmo. I could PayPal request you, etc. My one girlfriend, she had she's more of a long-term coach, but she had someone just not paying for the month, and it was like 2 weeks late. And she was like, if you need to stop our coaching now and take the next couple months to catch up on payments, we can resume. And that actually worked. She was like, thank God, like I was scared to reach out to you because I'm just like in a bad money situation. But thank you so much for giving me that option, blah, blah, blah. And then things were fine. Like she caught up and then they finished out her agreement. So, and then there was somebody else that basically told her, she was like, you're my last priority, like fuck off. So like, you're gonna have all different types of people that you deal with, but it is what it is. So do you guys have any questions today at the end of this? I think we went through a lot, and you have a lot of you have some more little tutorials to watch. Steven's really fast on those, I noticed. So you might have to just like kind of, but that's why I like the pre-recorded ones too. So you can like rewind and then like do like one thing at a time, you know, and that's why I did it with Procreate. I was like, they need to be able to like rewind this tutorial and pause and catch up. And then like, that's how I am with my Procreate classes. Like I'm always pause. So, yes, Chelsea, definitely message me privately. My DMs, if I don't catch them like basically the same day they come through, I don't see them. And again, beauty educators, we're going to set up Voxer. I hope you're okay with downloading an app. It goes on every phone I checked, even if it's not an iPhone. So we'll get a hold of you and let you know how to do that. But if you DM me like today, like I'm free. I can message you or I can chat with you. But yeah, I'm going to watch what I missed yesterday and send questions if I get any. That sounds great. All right, guys, it was lovely talking to you again. I'm going to take another little picture again, because I'm got to prove that I teach classes online. And I kind of hate this part, but you know, it's got to happen. Even in person classes, I'm like, should we take a group picture? Anyway. All right, guys, thank you for coming. It was so fun hanging out with you. See you later, guys.